fulfilling living life to the fullest? The lives that we truly aspire to live in our hearts? Fuck no. It's harsh, but it's the truth. We live in a system that, while it for sure has its perks, and is probably one of the most civilized societies, at least compared to the rest of human history, but it holds us back in many ways, and frankly, we don't do shit about it. Fuck, the system is way outdated at this point. Big time. It's pretty obvious. There's a severe mental health epidemic. Everyone's depressed and angst. People spend most of their time at jobs that are just, frankly, absolutely meaningless, and that also leaves them depressed. And because of this, we only live life on the weekends. In our free time outside of those sorry ass jobs, we spent looking for hedonistic pleasures like drugs or sex. Or if you're a productive Sigma, your type of drug is money. Constantly chasing money like a fucking crackhead on withdrawal looking for his last piece of meth. Or people will just eat garbage food and watch TikTok on their couch instead of living proactive lives. But then we wonder why we always feel like there's something missing in our lives. Like, yeah, actually there's a lot of fucking shit missing. Thing is, the system is deeply flawed, and deep down most of us know this, but we'll just ignore that gut feeling and keep pushing on. We'll lie to ourselves on a consistent basis, and then we'll end up with a life that deep down we're depressed and resentful about. A life that you let other people choose for you, instead of thinking for your goddamn self and making your own choices. It's just easier just to follow what everyone else is doing. It gives you safety, it gives you that security, but then you're miserable and anxious. So why do you want so much goddamn security? I mean, to make sure you'll never run out of food and resources just to continue being depressed and fearful about every next step? Always worrying? Is that what you really call life? And then people just sadly limit themselves by saying,
Oh, this is just life. Oh, this is just reality.
like, bitch, no! We live in a system that fucking brainwashes people to think in this fearful ass manner.
No, this isn't just reality.
You dumb bitch.
What about the old days? How good times were.
Ah.
Nice nostalgia. Well, it should remind you that life is supposed to be great and full of joy, not this shitty time we're in right now. Don't just think that life is shit and will never get better, because that's far from the truth. When I think about living life to the fullest, one thing I certainly think about is spending time with loved ones. When you're with people that you truly love, life is just so much better. You feel so connected and you almost forget about all your problems. It's like cloud nine. You know those good ass moments where you just can't stop crying from laughter? Or when you have a deep convo that goes late into the night? It feels like nothing could go wrong. And I say truly love because the quality of time spent with someone that you truly love versus someone who's kind of like a surface level connection is a huge difference. But relationships are 100% a part of a fulfilling life, and yet the system separates us away from each other. We're all too busy working and living our own lives. Like, what? What the fuck does that even mean? We live on the same fucking planet in the same space and time. Why do we separate our lives in this way? Again, it's because there's a lot of brainwashing going on. They brainwash us to make us think that we're all against each other when that's not the case at all. What happened to communities? And I'm not just talking about online communities. Are those even real communities? Can people like for real connect on there? Or can people really connect while gaming? Personally, I don't think so at all. It's like the same difference of quality between like school in person and school virtual. It's two completely different stories. Texting or calling is not sufficient for a real connection. We need time in person. In most of human history, people had their loved ones near them and got to spend time in person on a daily basis. But now it's like we don't even know the people who live right next to us. We're surrounded by all these people, and yet we act like they don't exist. When they walk by us, we don't even bother saying hi or acknowledging them. Isn't that kind of fucking weird? After all, we're social creatures, and yet we're antisocial towards the people in our proximity? Like, what? But why don't we have these cohesive communities like before? Like, it's not unrealistic to attain at all, and yet we don't have that. Like, just imagine for a second, like, if we actually connected with the people who lived closest to us, we would be far less isolated than we are now. Any time in the day, you could walk 5 minutes and go hang out with a friend. Like, that's OP as fuck. Why do we only hang out with friends like once a week or even once a month or some people once a fucking year? Like, shouldn't we spend time with our loved ones on a almost daily basis instead of just not hanging out with anyone just because everyone lives far as fuck? My point is that the system that we live in develops people that act this way, that teaches ourselves slash our egos to be bigger than others. And one fundamental aspect about communities is that they need a common goal. But there isn't particularly any one established goal right now, but isn't it enough that we're just both two living beings on the same planet, motherfucker? And when you treat other beings like they don't exist, you end up treating the rest of your surroundings the same way. Like people treat nature the same exact way. And again, this happens because we're taught to believe that our ego is more important than everybody else and the environment. People don't give a fuck about nature anymore. They just litter like it's no tomorrow. Like, how has littering become normalized? Like, what? Nature used to be a part of our daily lives, and now people just have completely forgotten about it. Another thing that keeps us away from each other is time spent working. Alright, sure, we all have to contribute to society in some way, but work shouldn't take up most of our lives and headspace until the point where we can't spend time with our loved ones, and we end up losing all our fucking mental sanity. On top of that, most people don't even love the work they do. So it's like a lose lose situation. It leaves many people miserable and bored of life. And it just takes away the basic joy and excitement of life. And people will say,
Oh, that's just a part of growing up.
like, no, you dumb bitch. The joy and excitement of life is just a basic part of life. Like, it's supposed to be there up until the point you fucking die, like, even in your 70s, etc. But people just lose their joy of life just because they're spending time doing some fucking bullshit that they hate, their job, and then they end up rationalizing this way like, oh, that's just a part of growing up. And holy shit, don't even get me started on the education system. I won't go into too much detail here, but in terms of living life to the fullest, yeah, hell no. They force you to learn shit that's useless. Everyone knows this shit. What about teaching things like how to be kind to one another, or patience, or financial literacy, or interpersonal relationship skills? Shit that will actually be useful in our lives. And then by the time you're 18, you're forced into debt and to choose a career that you'll do for the rest of your lifetime. The system doesn't give a fuck. It's like, no, no, no time to think about it. Chop, chop. You're ready to fucking work. You're fucking ready, baby. And it's such a big ass decision when you're just 18. Like, what? You're basically a fucking baby and don't know shit about life. You literally just spawned in. Our brains aren't even fully developed until like age 25. So they just take advantage of our impressionable ass minds. It just assumes life is linear as shit. You go to school, you get a job, you get a partner, have kids, pets, retire, and that's life. But all of us know that that's far from the truth, and it's only one path, and it actually leaves most of us fucking miserable. It just forces us inside this small box, and it doesn't make any fucking sense at all. Not to mention, these are the same types of institutions who have people like presidents of Harvard plagiarizing. Yeah. Hmm. And the medical system?
Oh my God!
They don't give a fuck about you. All they care about is when their paycheck is coming in and at what time their shift ends. Most of the medical system is fucking corrupt because of that. Hey, and don't take my word. I saw this video the other day of an MIT neurosurgeon quitting his job that he put in 20 years into that career. 20 fucking years. And it was all because he realized how corrupt the medical system really was. He felt like all he was doing was just putting band-aids on the patient's issues, but never really solving the real problem. Hey, and salute and mad respect to this guy because he has fucking integrity. We need more people like him because unfortunately a lot of people in the medical system do not have integrity and won't quit their jobs even though it's fucking corrupt as fuck. I highly suggest you guys watch the video just to get more of an insight on the situation. But anyways, it's sad because there's many people who are hurt that can't do anything about it because anytime they try to go seek out help, it usually just results in a, "Oh, it's mild, you're good. If anything, just come back if it hurts." Always having our needs dismissed because they don't give a fuck. And at the end of the day, it's all just business like everything else. And unfortunately, this apathetic attitude is just everywhere. Towards others, the environment, the education system. It's fucking everywhere. What, really? Is the car good, Greg? When does the roundabout end? This is the longest roundabout.
Oh my god, I'm crying.
Wow. No, we can't stop it.
Nothing's getting the way. Somebody come.
The thing guys are. Oh!
Yo,
He ended it.
I wasn't.
We were in
I'm not
momentum.
mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Right?
All right. So the system is clearly clapped. So why am I saying all this? Well, I believe things are gonna get better. Things are gonna get a little worse before they get better, but the change is starting to happen. First, we have to be honest with ourselves, though, which is a scary process, and unfortunately, it's uncommon for people to have integrity nowadays. And that's partly because the school system taught us the opposite of having integrity. Like the results, aka grades, matters more than the process, aka the process of becoming a good fucking human being with integrity, which, by the way, the education system is supposed to produce, but clearly it's lacking in that department. So we have to be honest with ourselves, and, we can't lie to ourselves on a daily basis about our lives. The only way we can change is by being honest with ourselves, which is really scary process, but it's more than possible. And now being authentic is going to come at a cost. I mean, people are going to judge you, some people will get mad at you, but the cost of being not authentic is far greater. If you're truly being real with yourself, it benefits the rest of society and it leads us in the right direction. We need more real people, not fake people who pretend their lives are all great when it's really not. That only leads to more disconnection and avoiding the real problems at hand. Great change is coming, and there's no doubt about that. And it's going to be for the better. Because in times of crisis, there's a double edged sword. See, you're presented with a ton of adversity, but because of that adversity, on the other side of it, there's profound transformation. And it's only a matter of time before more people wake up to the real issues and come together to actually make great change. And as with all things in life, you either participate or you observe. So once again, ask yourself, are we really living?